Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I've got some terrifying Dogman encounters to share with you. Before we get into these Dogman encounters, though, a couple links I'd like to share. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. Those links are in the description below. Also, I have a second channel for creepypastas, fan fiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything that you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. And with that, guys, let's get on with these terrifying yet true Dogman encounters. Shall we? Today's first Dogman encounter. July 2009, I had borrowed my father's Chevy diesel truck to help my sister move. My father lives 10 miles southeast of Fenville, Michigan. It was around 10:30 at night when I was on 118th Street, east of 58th, when I saw a small herd of deer emerge on the right-hand side of the road. I slowed down when I saw them, but instead of crossing, they all perked their heads and stared across the road. There was nothing there, though. At this point, I'm about 200 yards away. I'm slowly approaching the deer, waiting for him to cross. I was about 50 feet away when it came running out of the tall weeds on the left-hand side. It was on all fours, but looked like it was crouched on all fours. It was chocolate brown, had a bushy long tail, German shepherd-like. Its fur was shaggy and unkempt. It had pointed ears, a wolf-shaped head, and it was baring its large, pointed white teeth. My dad's truck is a large Duramax diesel pickup. This thing was crouched on all fours, and its shoulder blades were still the same height as the driver's side window. It was looking down at the ground, probably because of my high beams, as I passed by. This is the only time in my life when I felt my life was in danger. I immediately hit the gas and took off. I told my father what happened, and of course he laughed and said, "I guess it could have been a wolf." He's lived out there for 25 years. The area by Eli Lake has always felt creepy and menacing to me. Today's second Dogman encounter. It was spring of 2010 when my friends and I decided to go out for a walk, about 12 at night. We left the house and proceeded to walk across the highway and over into the country. After losing track of time and walking for hours and what turned out to be 6 miles both ways, we came to a road that ran very close to the highway US 131. Myself and a friend were a couple hundred feet ahead of the others when we got into the middle of the street, very close to a ditch and a small marsh on the other side. After walking into the middle of the road, underneath the streetlight, we heard a loud, deep growl and snarl. The snarling was followed by loud thumps and thrashing about in the weeds and tall grass. Right when we heard this, we both ran as fast as we could in the opposite direction, until we were about 400 feet away and had a clear view of the area. Keep in mind that we're both armed with several knives and a spear, which we brought in case of coyotes, which are a big problem here. Even being as armed as we were, we instantly knew we didn't stand a chance against whatever made those noises. After running back to get out of harm's way, we stopped and just listened as quietly as we could. We could hear distinct, thumping footsteps and something being smashed around the moving water. After a couple of minutes, without any further noise, we proceeded back towards it, which was the only way home. As we got closer, we could hear the same noises start up again and more thrashing around. We ran back again, repeating this process several times until we heard it run off into the brush. We ran pretty much all the way home. I've heard plenty of coyotes before, and never heard anything like I did that night. I've also never been as scared as I was that night. I live in Portage, which is in southwest Michigan, and we had knives and spears with us, not because of the coyotes, but because we were teenagers with overactive imaginations. Now, mind you, we did hear everything. We did. Today's third Dogman encounter. Our family of 5 lived in a small 2-room cabin in Michigan. One night my parents had gone out and had our older cousin of mine stay with my younger brother, sister, and myself. We always had dogs growing up, mainly St. Bernards and larger dogs. It was pretty late at night, my siblings were asleep, and my cousin and I were eating ice cream and watching a movie. All of the dogs were out on their chains. First, we heard the neighborhood dogs going nuts, barking and growling for a few minutes. Then our 4 dogs started doing the same. The sounds were hair-raising. In the window across the room, both of us saw a very, very tall, hairy-covered creature peering in at us. It was standing on 2 legs and looked unnaturally giant-like. It made very low but audible strange noises. We were both so scared that we couldn't move. Tears poured from my widely opened eyes. I have never been so scared or uncomfortable in my whole life. My friend and I decided to take a bike ride one night up by Luther. We had just reached a little bit down our road, and she suggested we turn on one of the twisted dirt roads next to us. I agreed, and we started down it. Our flashlights were already dim, but when hers went out, we turned around. I suddenly heard a crack and shone the flashlight in that direction. I caught sight of a man, for my flashlight only reached the bottom of him. I heard a growl, and then it moved, disappearing. We raced home, but my friend refused to believe that we had just seen the Dogman. But I am convinced that I had seen the Dogman twice in my life.